Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn all about averages. So averages, what are they? Well, they refer to average amounts of a data set. So let's say that you decide to survey 100 people. The averages that you calculate are the averages that I've listed here. So we have 4 different types of averages: the mode, median, mean, and range. And these help us find the different average points of the data that you've collected. So what we need to understand is we need to understand how to calculate each one of these averages amongst a data set that we might have been given. So here's an S2S example that we're going to work through together now. So it says you surveyed a group of people asking how long it takes in minutes to get ready. The results are shown below. And here we have a list of numbers. We need to calculate the mode, median, mean, and range for these values. So below here, as we can see, we have a long list of numbers that tell us how long it took that particular person to get ready in minutes. As we can see, that this data set is not ordered, as we don't start with the lowest and end with the highest. It is purely just raw data set and has been noted down as we have been told. So when you get given questions like this, especially when the data set isn't ordered, you need to make sure that you have counted the individual responses properly. Okay, because it's not ordered for you, it's not easy to pick out some of the averages that we're going to go through together now. So therefore, we need to make sure that we are careful in how much we count and the values that we've gotten for each of the averages. So let's start off with mode. So the mode average, to find the modal average, refers to us finding the number that occurs the most in the data set. So this is the amount of times in minutes that it's taken for an individual to get ready that has appeared the most number of times. So for example, if we look at our S2S example here, we can see that it's taken 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 10 minutes to get ready. So the value for 10 minutes is 4. So what the mode refers to is the frequency of how many times this number has come up. So I like to refer to modal average as well, in the sense of frequency and how often the number comes up. So 10 appears 4 times. What we need to do is we now need to create a list to make sure that we have gotten everything and counted for everything properly. So 10 has appeared 4 times. Let's see how long or how many times 25 has appeared. We can see it once. If we scan through the data set, we can see that 25 only appears once. That means 1 person out of everyone who we've surveyed has said that it's taken them 25 minutes to get ready. So by 25, we're just going to put 1. Let's move on to 30. You can see that 1 person has said that it takes them 30 minutes. And again, that is the only time that 30 comes up. So 30 also has a frequency of 1. Frequency, quite simply, just means how many times has that number appeared in our data set. Next, we have 5. That means someone said it takes them 5 minutes to get ready. 1 person said 5. Another person has also said 5, so that's 2. And then if we look, we can see that we've got another 5 here as well. So that means 3 people have said, out of everyone who we surveyed, it takes them 5 minutes to get ready. So 5 minutes has a frequency of 3. Let's move on. 15. How many people does it have said that it takes them 15 minutes to get ready? We can see we've got 1 here. We look along, we've got another 15 here and another 15 here. So that means 3 people have also said it takes them 15 minutes to get ready. Moving on, we now have 20. So we're going to do the same process like we've been doing before. So 20, if we count, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that 20 has a frequency of 5. 5 people says it takes them 20 minutes to get ready. Then we have 40 minutes. If we look amongst the data sets for where 40 comes up again, it's only here. So 40 has a frequency of 1. 35 appears twice. And so therefore, the frequency for 35 is 2. At S2S, we are huge on giving you guys tips and tricks of how to self-check yourself as you go along so that you can see that you are along the right path from the beginning of your question right until we get to an answer. So hopefully you guys can see, but as we've been going through and listing out the frequencies for each of these numbers, I've been making a mark underneath the numbers as we say them. What this does is it allows us to know that we have acknowledged and accounted for every single number. It prevents us double counting numbers and it prevents us missing out numbers as well. So because I have marked each number as we went along, if we count how many people we surveyed and count our total number here, the values are going to be exactly the same, which shows us that we've not missed out any of the values. With questions like averages, especially when you have to deal with data sets and information, missing out information, missing out one person's answer can greatly affect the answer that you arrive to, which can also impact how many marks you get for that question. So it's super important that you do not miss out on any points that we've been given, any information. So to calculate the mode, we said that it is the number that occurs the most, the number with the highest frequency. And as we can see here from our table that we've created from this pile of results we've been given, our modal result is 20 minutes, as 5 people have said it takes them 20 minutes to get ready. Okay, that is the most occurring value that we've gotten from the data set. So therefore, by the mode, we will put 20 minutes. So moving on to the median. The median refers to the middle value. Okay, so the middle value when we list all of the data points starting from the smallest and ending with the largest. So to calculate the median using this data set that we've been given, we need to do a little bit of rearranging first. So what we need to do is we need to rearrange our data points, starting with the smallest and ending with the largest. So our smallest amount of time that it takes someone to get ready is 5. So we're going to put that here. However, what we need to notice is we need to account for how many times 5 was said. So we don't just put 1, 5 and move on, because 5 has been mentioned, if we go back to our frequency table, has been mentioned 3 times. So we actually need to write out 5 3 times. Then we need to progress to the next highest value, which is 10 minutes. So we again can look at our frequency table to see how many people said it took them 10 minutes to get ready. And as we can see, it's 4. So we're going to write out 10 4 times. Then we progress to the next highest number, which is 15. 15 was mentioned 3 times, so we're going to write out 15 3 times. The next highest value is 20, and which we know is our modal average, as it was mentioned 5 times. So we're going to write out 20 5 times. "25" was mentioned once. 30 was mentioned once. 35 was mentioned twice. And 40 was mentioned once. So sometimes when you're presented with these type of questions, you may have your information presented to you in this kind of way, starting with the smallest and ending with the largest. But other times, they may not be in that layout. So we need to make sure that if you're calculating the median, you put your information, your values and your points from the smallest amount to the largest amount. Now, finding the median means to find the middle number in between these values that we've been given. So the way we do that is as follows. We put a slash through the outer numbers, and we work our way in until we get to the middle number. So we're going to continue going, 1 from the higher side, 1 from the lower side, again from the higher side, again from the lower side, and we're going to continue doing this until we get to a middle number. It's important that you do one side from each because we're trying to find the middle. Okay, we're not trying to find a number that's closer to the beginning or lower amount or closer to the higher amount. We want the middle number. So we continue going. But what can we see here? We have exactly 2 numbers in the middle, because if I put a slash through this side, then I've put too many slashes on the side of the higher side and not the same amount from the side of the lower side. So it means that we have 2 numbers that are actually in the middle. So the median value is actually the number that lies in between, directly in between these 2 values. And the way we calculate this is as follows. You can either add the 2 together and divide them by 2 to get your median value, or you can calculate the difference, half the difference, and add it to the lowest number, or take it away from the highest number. So if we calculate the difference, we know that the difference is 5. 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. 2.5 add 15 equals 17.5. So it means that the median value of this data set is 17.5 minutes. Okay, so hopefully we are understanding everything so far. If you are, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to our channel. Okay, so let's move on to the mean. So the mean is actually the longest or the most long-winded averages of the 4 that we have. However, it is the most accurate. So what we have to do for the mean is you have to add all of the points in your data sets together, and then you have to divide that total by how many we have. So if we go back to our original data sets down here, we have 10, 25, 30, 10, 5, 15, 20, 10, 5, 40, 35, 20, 10, 20, 35, 15, 20, 15, 5, and 20. What we need to do is we need to add up all of these values together, and that total number, we need to divide it by how many values we have. So not the number itself, but how many we have altogether. So to calculate this, what we can do is we can add our frequencies up all together. So going back to our frequency table that we created in the beginning. So here I'm labeling F for frequency and M for minutes. If we add up our frequency, we will know how many data points we have. So 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 5 is 17, 17 plus 1 is 18, and 18 plus 2 is 20. So it means that we asked 20 people. So we've asked 20 people altogether. Now what we need to do is we need to add up the total amount of minutes. So how long did it take all of these 20 people to get ready? So that means we need to do 10 plus 25 plus 30 plus 10 plus 5 plus 15 plus 20 plus 10 plus 5 plus 40 plus 35 plus 20 plus 10 plus 20 plus 35 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15 plus 5, and then plus 20 again. And the value you should get is 365. So that means it took 365 minutes for the 20 people that you surveyed to get ready. The average of this is now 365 divided by 20. This gives us the mean average. And that value you should get is 18.25 minutes. Now, that was a lot to do. However, it is the most accurate, and we'll come on to that reason in just a little bit. The last average that we need to know how to do is the range. The range is perhaps more simple than the mean. And the way we calculate the range is simply by taking away the lowest value, so the lowest amount of time it's taken for someone to get ready versus or away from the highest amount of time, the longest amount of time that it's taken for an individual to get ready. So the range is simply just the highest point, take away the lowest point, and that equals the range. So if we look at our data, we can see that the longest amount of time someone took was 40 minutes. and the lowest amount of time someone took was 5. We only need the highest number here and the lowest number. It doesn't matter how many times that number has appeared, we just need the highest and the lowest. Then we take them away. Okay, so we take the lowest amount away from the highest amount. So 40 minus 5 gives us 35 minutes. And what this means is that the range of time that it's taken 20 people to get ready is 35 minutes. Okay. And so these are how we've calculated the 4 different averages from a single data set. So what can we see with the different averages? We have different amounts. So with the mode, the average was 20 minutes. With the median, the average was 17.5 minutes. The mean average was 18.25 minutes, and the range average was 35 minutes. So they all present us with different averages. Okay, and the reason for this is because of how we've calculated the average from the same data set. You can argue that some are more accurate than others, okay, in the sense that the mean takes into account every individual information or data provided and spreads it equally across everyone. However, you could say that the mean doesn't let us know how many people took less time than others, because the mean would be affected by a single or a couple large values. As you can see here, 40 minutes is way higher than 5 minutes. But because the mean averages it all out, it doesn't take into account that we actually had 3 people say it only took them 5 minutes versus 1 person saying it took them 40. Okay. The mode, in comparison, takes into account how many people give a particular amount of time for this question. However, it doesn't let us know any other part of the data. So as we can see here, the mode for this data set was 20, as 5 people said it took them 20 minutes. However, the mode doesn't take into account that 4 people, which is only 1 less, said it took them 10 minutes. We completely disregard all the other information and their frequencies because of the information that has the highest amount. So as we can see here, there are positives and negatives to using the different averages. And what some questions may ask you to do is they might ask you to explain which average is the best to use in that situation, in which you will need to make sure that you look at the data set and analyze what the question is asking of you. I hope you all enjoyed this video. This is an introductory video to the 4 different averages that we have and how to calculate them given a data set. We've gone through an S2S example and we've looked at how to find the 4 different averages using some jumbled up data.